Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because we are talking about some things in your house that are making it look a little cheap and how we can fix and what we can do to make it look expensive and luxurious, because sometimes having your house look expensive isn't about how much money you're spending. Sometimes your house could look really cheap and you could have spent a lot. So let's get into it. The first thing I think makes a big difference in the feeling of a space and it looking luxurious and expensive and designer is all about the contrast you're using and basically the colors you're picking. If you're using high contrast in a space, it's going to look high contrast. It's gonna look really stark. It's gonna look like, you know, we're at two opposite ends of the spectrum. It's almost like I took out the color wheel and said, what are the opposites on it? And I chose them. Even if you're using black and white. Using a subtle contrast in the tones in your space is an easy way to make it look more expensive and more luxurious. And that doesn't have to be neutrals, but it can be. You can use a white and a cream. You can use a gray and a white. You can use a black and a brown. These are all colors that are naturally closer together, so they have a little bit more of that subtle feeling to them. That's why when you see a space that is all completely white, it looks really good. And I mean, yeah, all white is a little bit basic and simple, okay, but it looks luxurious. And you can do this using colors as well. I love it for kids' rooms. Kids love vibrant, fun, loud colors. So using two of them that are similar or closer together, like two different shades of green or pink together in a room, makes it feel youthful and fun and energetic, but it's not super high contrast as it would be if you were doing like, you know, a crazy loud color on the wall and then white trim. Those two colors together are pulling more of your attention than the white trim is against it. So using a subtle contrast in your space is an easy way to make it look more expensive and more luxurious. Leave those high contrast colors behind and embrace something that's a little bit more refined. Something that's always going to make your home look more luxurious, more expensive, and a mistake you can make that makes it look cheap is noble materials. Noble materials basically just means things that are authentic, that look like what they are. So instead of using a wood laminate, use wood. Instead of using a fake polyester looking linen, use linen. So those sorts of things are really good to consider because they naturally look and feel more luxurious, more expensive, because they probably are, but the noble material aspect of it is kind of about reducing synthetic materials in your home. And there's places you can do this in ways that it makes more sense. Like if I'm working with a family, for example, I have clients all the time who they've got kids and they need things that are gonna be really durable. I might say, let's look at a sofa that's a little more affordable. Maybe it has a performance fabric on it, which tends to be a synthetic material. But what I'm gonna say is maybe for drapery, maybe for accent pillows or a throw blanket, we use those noble materials so that the things you're touching, you're coming into contact with, that you see that are the accents in the space that are already pulling that attention, are those authentic materials. Same thing goes for furniture pieces and flooring and the finishes you're using in your house. If it looks like wood, definitely consider making it wood. And there is a conversation to be had about like a vinyl plank or a wood look tile floor in your space, just depending on the needs of it. And the same thing goes for furniture. Instead of getting those more affordable pieces from the flat pack box store that look like wood but are really laminate, let's look to see if we can maybe find a vintage piece, a little bit of an older piece, or find something that is at a similar price point that's real wood. That way you get that look and feel, but you get the authenticity of it actually being a noble material. I personally believe that you're better off having less pieces, but really good pieces, than you are in having, an entire house packed full of furniture immediately right off the bat, but it all being lower quality. Maybe I'm a minimalist in that fashion because I think less is more when it comes to the quality of pieces of furniture. As many of you know, I'm always looking out for you and my clients as well because I offer my design services on a consultation basis. If you're in the position where you need some difficult design questions answered, you have an awkward layout, or you need to figure out where the furniture placement's gonna be, you can't decide on the color of sofa for your space, I am at your service. You can always book a one-on-one virtual consultation with me using the link in the description box down below or going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. Expensive and luxurious homes Homes that have been worked on by designers always have one thing in common, and that's a very cohesive color scheme. Whether you're using something that's higher contrast or you're using some of those more subtle and refined tones, having a strong color scheme is an easy way to make your house look more expensive. The way you can achieve this in your home, in any space in your home, is by creating a cohesive color scheme using art, accessories and throw pillows, even rugs. These tend to have patterns, which means they have multiple tones within them. Maybe a piece of art doesn't have a pattern, but you get the concept in what I'm saying. They have multiple tones within them, and that's the perfect opportunity for you to tie all of your colors together. Get big, large, and oversized artwork to really drive home the fact that we have got these tones within it. And there tends to be some variation in those colors. They have a gradient effect, so even if every single piece of furniture or fabric material doesn't match perfectly in your home, we can tie that back in with that piece of art. Same thing goes for a throw pillow. If it's a bedroom, that may be extended to your duvet cover and your shams or whatever, but those patterns are the place you're pulling your inspiration for your color scheme from or tying everything together. And it makes a space look and feel more luxurious. Because it feels very intentional, we've got all of those colors repeating themselves in multiple places. And you may even want to look at a rug that has all of those colors in it. I do love a neutral rug, but right now we're favoring lighter toned neutrals, and cream, ivory, beige on the floor is a little bit of a difficult area because you walk on it, like your shoes, the floors, people are coming in and out of the house, the dog, the kids, whatever. Everything is getting on there. So you may favor doing something that's a little bit more of an intense color, something that is a little darker in your space, and then tying that in with something else that's darker to create an intentional or more cohesive color scheme. Something else that is immediately going to make your house look and feel more luxurious, more expensive, is going oversized on some of the things. Some of the things might be a little bit of that artwork we talked about, but most importantly, one of the easiest ways to make your house look expensive is in an oversized rug. Getting a bigger rug in your space will make it look expensive. And I know you've heard that before. If you've watched any other design channel, be it from a designer or a design commentator, they have said this because it's an obvious and a go-to. Getting an oversized rug, all of your furniture sitting on that rug, seeing a little bit of that rug from behind the sofa, if it's a floating arrangement in a living room, easy way to make your house look more expensive. Even if you're in a small apartment, let's say you're renting a small apartment. Great, okay. Getting a rug that fits appropriately with the sofa is a good way to do that. If you have an 8-foot sofa, you need at least a 9-foot rug. And then, measure out how far we can take that and then choose from a standardized size. You could even go with a 10-foot rug, especially if you have side tables. We want that rug to extend past them a little bit. Getting a bigger rug will make your house look more luxurious and more expensive, or a very well-fitted rug can also do that. So if you want a little bit of variation, like maybe you have some tighter pathways behind a piece of furniture, a sofa, for example, I might take that rug half or 3/4 of the way under that piece of furniture and have the back exposed with no rug, but I'm gonna make sure that rug extends beyond the sides of it, so I'm creating an elongated effect in that space. An oversized rug makes a home look expensive. Also, oversized light fixtures, and I mean like an overhead fixture. Going oversized in a modern built home is an easy way to make the house look more expensive and more luxurious. Number one, we're getting more lighting, and I love that. And number two, we're bringing the eye upwards, away from the area down below that's a little bit full, that has things that's a little cluttered. We're bringing it up to the ceiling level where we can really see that piece. I also like to create a lot of balance by using a lot of furniture down below, like a big living room layout is expansive, it's big, okay? Even my house, this isn't the biggest living room in the world, but it feels expansive because of the spacing and the placement of the furniture. I need to have a bigger light fixture above, okay? I just need to balance everything out with that fixture. Going big on a light fixture is an easy way to do that. You can get something that has extension arms on it or something of that nature that will really enhance the scale of the overall space and tie everything together. Something else you can do on top of just going with a big light fixture is adding more lighting throughout. You may not need to redo your light fixture. Maybe it's fine, maybe it's a perfect size, maybe it's a little undersized, but you love it, fine. Add extra lighting. More lighting feels more luxurious. And there's a lot of reasons for this. Number one is you have more substantial accessories, right? Lamps are not little tchotchkes. They're not little teeny tiny things. They're bigger, they're more substantial. This space feels less cluttered, less busy, and it's just more luxurious feeling. Having additional lighting also gives you extra lighting, and it gives you a soft feeling in the space when you have those lights on. Luxury is not just about if something looks expensive. It's about how you interact with that something. It's about how the overall feeling of that area is. And lighting is a good way to do that, because physically you can go over and turn on a lamp. And doing that multiple spaces in a room, like if you have 4 or 5 lamps in a room, it does have a sense of luxury, of like change, of growth, because as we turn the lights on, you can see them and the lighting changes. And that feeling is very luxurious. But also having that softer lighting throughout the space, like we can turn the overhead light off or put it on a dimmer switch and set it to the lowest setting, because I think it's kind of weird to have an overhead light that's not on while you're in the space, or you're like enjoying it. You have all of the other lighting on, like put that on, but like set it to the dimmest setting so it's not overwhelming. But we have all of that additional lighting that's creating these cascading lights all around the space, on the walls, on the ceilings. It creates that soft feeling that feels comfortable, inviting, and welcoming. I always say add a lamp in every corner and then add another 2. Like add as many extra lighting sources as possible. And I talk about this with clients, like add LED lighting behind the TV if it's gonna be in that space. Add it under a floating piece of furniture, or like, you know, if you have a mounted cabinet on the wall, add it underneath there. Give us something extra there, because that lighting makes a difference, and it does make a space feel more luxurious. Adding as much additional lighting as possible will make your home look luxurious. Another thing that will make your home look beautiful, gorgeous, stunning is getting great design advice like we give here on the channel. Every week we post at least 2 videos, so we would greatly appreciate if you would become a part of our LeChic family. Hit that subscribe button and join us. I'd also greatly appreciate if you shared this video with a friend who is maybe struggling to come up with some of the luxury ideas that their home is looking for. Be sure to send this over to them, and I would greatly appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a like. On top of adding additional lighting sources and all of the things we've talked about thus far, something that always feels luxurious in a home is to add a built-in feature. And maybe a naughty little cavalier, but that's beside the point. Arden's gonna sit here and chill out and hang out with us. Adding built-in features always feels more luxurious, because it is. And built-in features can mean a lot of different things. You could do built-in bookcases in a room. That looks luxurious and beautiful if you're flanking a doorway with them. Great, love it. You can do a floating television console if you're in a smaller space. Absolutely, I love that, because we're adding additional flooring space by having something that is permanently affixed or is off of the floor. That's wonderful. And we can also do something like a built-in banquette. Banquettes always feel luxurious and beautiful and intentional. You can also add additional flooring space into a smaller home by having something that's off-centered using a banquette. So all of those are good ideas, but built-in elements could extend to, you know, adding a ceiling medallion to a space or your living room or a bedroom. Another built-in feature is moldings on walls. You could do applied moldings in a French style. You could do a chair rail. That's interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of a accent wall, as you all know, but I think if you overwhelm a space and you do that accent wall on every wall, that's really cool as well. All of those are built-in features. Crown molding. Crown molding is a built-in feature. It's completely unnecessary. For most homes, you don't have to have it, but it's really great too. So that's a built-in feature I love to do. Going oversized or overwhelming the trim and moldings around your door frames, your baseboard, adding anything additional there, it feels expensive and luxurious because it is. Adding a beautiful mantle on your fireplace, that's a built-in element that feels luxurious. Adding in a faux mantle if you don't have a fireplace, that can be another built-in element or create the effect of one, and once again, feels more luxurious. So if you're looking to really up the ante in your space and make it feel luxury and look beautiful, consider adding some of these details that are built in, because they immediately do that. And it may be worth having a contractor out or seeing what can be done, looking up some DIYs for inspiration and seeing what real people have done with their homes. Tour a model home, go look at other homes in the neighborhood that are the same model as yours and see what other people have done for some of that inspiration. Now, another detail I always incorporate, I'm always looking for because it feels natural, it feels personal, it feels interesting, is mixing styles together in your space or mixing materials in an unexpected way. Now, why do I recommend that? Why do I suggest it? Why does every designer kind of do this? Because it makes a space feel like it's been curated over time. It makes it feel interesting and unique and personal, and mixing different materials in an unexpected way definitely says to anybody that comes into this space, like, I have personal style, I have taste, and I'm not afraid to have fun. all of that says to me, like, this is a luxurious space. Like, this is somebody who's really taken the time and put the effort into it. Effort always reads as being luxurious to me. Like, I always love that. So definitely look at incorporating and considering that in your space. Another great reason to mix different styles together or pieces from different eras or time periods is because it really feels like it's been curated over time. And also, when something is on trend, then that one piece will uplift the feeling of the space. It will never feel dated. And so when something else is a little dated, that something will fade into the background because something else is taking front stage. So for example, in my home, I have a very traditional cabinet behind me. It's something I love. It's a beautiful piece. Incredible quality, right? It's a noble material. I love it so much. But my sofa is very modern. It's extremely modern. Actually, it's postmodern, which is about as modern as you can get. And the two of them together have this really great juxtaposition that makes me very happy. So when modern design is really in and on trend, the sofa looks great. As a matter of fact, this blue color was trending not too long ago. And so it was like, hey, I didn't have to take advantage of the trend because I already had it because I just like it. However, right now, like, maybe last year, more modern design was on trend, but now people are really liking more traditional pieces and finding antiques and bringing them in. So some of the more traditional styled pieces I have in my home are really taking center stage at the moment. Having a mix of different styles in your house will do that for you. It's also really good if you have something that would be considered a dated element. Like, for example, I always say I don't love recliners because they look big and bulky, or like a reclining sofa, right? Like, yeah, okay, maybe it's a little dated, but if you're mixing that with things that are very timeless and that are always going to be in, or you're mixing different styles together, you have a little something modern, a little something traditional, I'm not looking at the sofa. Like, that's not the thing I'm considering. If it's really tied into the color scheme, it's gonna probably blend in a little bit, and my attention's gonna turn to the things that are really beautiful within that space. So mixing different styles of things together and not just saying like, my style is, traditional, it's farmhouse, it's French country, it's, contemporary, it's organic modern. All of these things are great, but you need to be mixing different pieces in with that style so that it feels natural, personal, not like you copied it off of something you saw online, but it feels intentional and personal. And then we can start playing around with what details do we want to come to the forefront and what do we want to fade into the background. Well, there you have it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for spending some time with us today. Be sure you check out this video right over here, all about some of the things you're not doing that are making your house look dated. And we will see you over there. Won't we, Arden?